31 goals are coming your way in the next hour, and that doesn't include our weekly pick of the best from Europe. But our first visit today has to be to Pittodrie, where a quite astonishing match unfolded, particularly in the second half. So, unless you happen to be a Hearts fan, sit back and enjoy watching Aberdeen show the kind of form that could make them serious challengers for the Premier Division title. Commentator, Jerry McNee.
There's the Aberdeen lineup, which is the same team that registered the astonishing 7-0 win at Firhill in midweek. The moral of the story is, don't force the Dons to travel to Glasgow twice in 4 days. And there's the man who helped himself to a hat-trick in that match, Duncan Shearer, who's been a great success this season since his £500,000 move from Blackburn. He scored 18 goals in 21 games, 7 of them coming in the last 5 matches, a remarkable record. Hearts manager Joe Jordan has Gary Mackay available again after injury, but Dutchman Peter van de Ven has failed to recover from a groin injury in time to face his old club. Once again, the Tynecastle side will be looking to the scoring talents of Ian Baird, who's been in splendid form recently, scoring the equaliser against Rangers last week, plus the winners against Hibs and Dundee United, to gain 5 points out of the last 6 for his club. The referee is Jim McCluskey from Stewarton. So it's Hearts in the all-white strip who get this important Premier Division match underway, a crucial game for both clubs, both sitting on 24 points, 5 behind Rangers. And Aberdeen in splendid form recently, taking 12 points out of a possible 12. But Hearts, thanks to the likes of Craig Levine there, have the best defensive record in the Championship so far. They've lost just 12 goals in 18 games. Derek Ferguson didn't seem to know where that one was going, but that's a throw-in, indicates the referee. Jim Bett was who made the challenge on Tosh McKinlay. The referee, though, immediately signalled a throw-in. This is Stephen Wright trying to find Shearer. Hogg stayed with him all the way. Gary Mackay made the challenge. It's Jim Bett stepping in now. And the free kick awarded against Tosh McKinlay. Well, he's enraged because just a few moments ago he was taken out of the play by Jim Bett. And the upshot of that one was a throw-in. While Shearer, Duncan Shearer, receiving some treatment. Both Tosh McKinlay and Jim Bett have been shown the yellow card. So the throw-in from Jim Bett to Jess, and the ball goes behind for the corner kick to Aberdeen. Alec McLeish has moved into the 6-yard area. Brian Irvin is up there as well. And it's Irvin who attacks the ball there. That's scramble it clear. McLeish plays it to Bett. Another awkward one. And the goal by Irvin. Brian Irvin scores for Aberdeen. 12 minutes gone here at Pittodrie, and Brian Irvin gets his second goal of the season. McLeish had played the ball back out to Bett. His cross came in, the downward header there left Henry Smith stranded. It's Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0. This is Mackay to Berry. Robertson's challenged by McLeish. That's a free kick to Hearts. Ferguson's free kick. And Graham Hogg's header dipping over the crossbar. Graham Hogg signed for £200,000 from Portsmouth, and he always carries a threat at set pieces, climbing high there with Baird and sending the ball just over the bar. This is Ian Jess. That's a good cross by Jess. And Graham Hogg, under a lot of pressure there from Shearer, had to dive in. And he did well not to put the ball in his own net, but it was a superb cross by Ian Jess, being chased all the way by McLaren. You get a terrific angle onto that, and there was Hogg heading behind with Shearer threatening. Powerfully headed away there by Alex McLeish. This is Richardson. Good turn by Richardson. Mason's breaking in the left. He plays the ball inside Berry. Mason gets away from him. In comes Shearer, and again it's Hogg to Hart's rescue. Graham Hogg sending it behind for the corner kick. That was an excellent build-up by Aberdeen. Alex McLeish, meanwhile, has gone forward. He's being watched carefully there by McLaren. And McLaren gets the touch there. That was an excellent effort by Paul Mason. Well, Paul Mason scored a couple of goals against Hearts last season, and certainly tested Henry Smith there. This is Ian Jess now for Aberdeen, holding off the challenges, doing well. Here he is again. Superb play by Ian Jess. Now Stephen Wright. That's a fine cross. The chance on here. And Henry Smith got off an excellent save there from Paul Mason. Excellent goalkeeping, but terrific play initially by Ian Jess. Then Stephen Wright stepping away from the defender, getting in an excellent cross. It eventually broke through to Paul Mason, come off the head of Shearer there, and Henry Smith did well. Gary Mackay gets in the cross. It's headed away though by McLeish, only as far as Derek Ferguson. This is Mackay again. It's left by Robertson to Baird. Robertson again. That's a good effort by John Robertson, and it's fisted over by Theo Snelders. Well, John Robertson giving some hope to Hearts as we move into injury time in this first half. It was nicely left there initially by Robertson. He took the return from Baird, and that one certainly caused Theo Snelders a problem. So Robertson in there again. This could well be the last chance of the first half. Derek Ferguson sends it in. It's headed away by Shearer, who was back helping in defence. And Ian Jess concedes the throw-in. So there will be a little injury time. Brian Irvin did require some treatment. Still Hearts pushing forward, but it's picked up now by Jim Bett. Played out in the direction of Mason. It's Mason against Levine. Aberdeen are pouring players forward here. Still Mason, he stabs it through now to Jess. Hearts won't want to lose another one here. Here's Shearer. Oh, a terrific goal. Duncan Shearer, right on the stroke of half-time, gets his 19th goal of the season. Well, it was superb play by Aberdeen. Jess got the ball right across the face of goal, and there was Shearer to finish off in some style. So 19 goals for Duncan Shearer, and it's Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. And that really does leave Hearts with an amazing battle in our hands now. Certainly Aberdeen have been the better team in this first half. And there goes the half-time whistle. And applause rings all around Pittodrie. It was Brian Irvin after 12 minutes who put Aberdeen ahead. The ball was whipped in from the right-hand side by Jim Bett, and there was Irvin with the downward header. And then right on the stroke of half-time, Duncan Shearer finishing off a superb move by Aberdeen. The half-time score here at Pittodrie, Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. So it's Aberdeen very much in the driving seat to get the second half underway. This is the 27th Premier League meeting between the sides here at Pittodrie. Aberdeen so far have won 14, Hearts just 5, and 7 have been drawn. And Shearer's goal there just before half-time, incidentally, was Aberdeen's 50th in the Premier League here against Hearts. So no changes, and either side. And Scott Booth and Paul Kane are on the bench for Aberdeen. Here come Hearts trying to make an early impression. Hearts have Ian Ferguson and Glyn Snodden on the substitutes bench. So this is Derek Ferguson. No doubt Joe Jordan had plenty to say to his players during the interval. It was a very disappointing first half by them. They made very little impression on an Aberdeen defence which has been well marshalled by their skipper Alec McLeish and Brian Irvin. They performed very solidly indeed, and the youngsters Stephen Wright and Gary Smith have also performed excellently. And here come Hearts, the chance is on here, and Ian Baird pulls one back. 46 minutes, and Ian Baird breathes life back into this game and into the Hearts challenge. That's his 6th goal of the season, and you can see the determination in his face. Well, what a scoring record he's had recently. He was right in at the start of the move, and he was there to finish it off. It was played in by John Miller. Betts cross, and it's nicked away there by Levine. This is Berry. Derek Ferguson to Levine. Returned by Gary Smith. This is Shearer. Oh, that's a terrific save by Henry Smith, and Duncan Shearer did extremely well to get that shot in there, despite the attentions of his marker. It was Gary Smith who lofted it back in, and Shearer did really well here. The defender closing in, McLaren, was in hot pursuit, and Smith did well at his near post. Played off by Robertson, and Tosh McKinlay topples to the ground, and the Hearts have the free kick. Jim Bett, the offender. So Tosh McKinlay limping a bit there. Meanwhile, Hearts push just about everyone forward. There's Hogg and Levine inside the Aberdeen penalty area. Baird's hovering there as well. There's Levine's header, and Graham Hogg scores for Hearts. 57 minutes gone. What a turnaround in this game. Well, Craig Levine it was who got his head to the ball. Baird had gone on a run to the near post. He took players with him. Levine got in the header, and then Hogg got the touch. This is Scott Booth, and again Aberdeen get the throw. Nice little turn there by Jess. Shearer's on the far side, he gets the knock down there. This is Richardson laying it off to Mason. Oh, great goal by Paul Mason. 65 minutes gone. It's Aberdeen 3, Hearts 2. Great play by Ian Jess, a lovely little turn there. Shearer got the knockdown. It was laid off then by Richardson, and what a finish by Paul Mason. Play on, says the referee. Alec McLeish comes across though to provide the cover. He clears well. This is Levine for Hearts. Cut out by Richardson, who's having a splendid game. That's an excellent ball through to Mason. Aberdeen are pouring players forward. Ian Jess running into the near post, and there's Shearer. 71 minutes, another classic goal from Aberdeen. Shearer gets his 2nd goal of the game. It's his 20th of the season. It was a great ball from Richardson to Mason. Again, Aberdeen with plenty of running off the ball. Ian Jess come tearing in towards the near post. He took defenders with him, and there was Shearer to finish it off. Aberdeen 4, Hearts 2. And here they come again. It's Ian Jess, it's Shearer. That's his 3rd hat-trick of the season. Duncan Shearer completes his hat-trick. It's his third hat-trick of the season. A mistake there initially by Levine. Scott Booth was in there. Ian Jess did brilliantly. Sent the ball across the face of the penalty area. And in stepped Shearer. Thank you very much. Switch of play there by Brian Grant to Scott Booth. Booth again taking on Tosh McKinlay. Well, McKinlay had better be careful here. He's already been booked. And in fact, he's going to be sent off the field. Tosh McKinlay there taking Booth right out of the play. And he doesn't wait even for the red card to be shown. Tosh McKinlay ordered from the field. Ball taking a deflection there, that'll go for a corner unless Smith can stop it. And Smith racing back into goal. It's quickly taken by Mason. Here's Richardson. And Aberdeen win the corner kick. So it's Alec McLeish moving forward. Played in now to the near post. Shearer's shot was blocked on the line by Snodden. Almost a 6-goal for Aberdeen. The Hearts defence looking none too convincing here. That was Snodden who blocked Shearer. This is Ian Jess now. But a chance on for Ian Jess. Mistake there by Levine. And Henry Smith did well. Well, Ian Jess will be disappointed, but the Hearts defence was all over the place. Jess stepped in, managed to run clear. He tried to pick his spot there just to Henry Smith's left, and the goalkeeper did well to get a hand to the ball. Booth was running in, but just too late. Gary Mackay sends it clear. Returned by Brian Grant. That's excellent play. Oh, magnificent goal! Scott Booth. What a fabulous finish to this match. Really was terrific play again. The houses for a finish off the underside of the bar. Aberdeen 6, Hearts 2. This is Booth. Surely it can't be another one. And it's hooked away by Gary Mackay. There goes the final whistle on what's been a quite remarkable afternoon here in the Granite City. There's the hat-trick man himself, Duncan Shearer. He scored in the first half and then delivered 2 more in the second half. The Aberdeen fans absolutely delighted. The final score here at Pittodrie Stadium: Aberdeen 6, Hearts 2.
Duncan, would it be fair to say that's the best team performance since you've come here?
Including last Tuesday?
Including?
I think so, yeah. I think we played some good football there, particularly second half.
And that's what, 21 goals for yourself now, your third hat-trick of the season?
Yeah, absolutely delighted. I don't know where I'm going to put all these match balls, but delighted to accept them.
What was the feeling though? I mean, you're 2-0 up at half-time, you've scored right on the interval, Hearts come back into it. When they got that second goal, what were your feelings?
Very frightening, I must admit, when they took the centre circle after the second goal. Determination in the Hearts' faces. But we pulled through it and we scored some great goals after that.
Do you think there's a genuine championship challenge on now from Aberdeen?
I think, to be fair, the feeling is here that there always has been. It's just, I think other people are saying otherwise. We're just ticking away and taking one game at a time, and we're looking forward to, obviously, Celtic on Wednesday.
6-2, Jerry. Willie Miller certainly has got something going at Pittodrie.
There's no doubt about that. That's 14 points out of 14 for Aberdeen, and of course they were playing against the best defensive record until yesterday in Hearts, who'd lost only 12 goals, as you heard earlier on. And Hearts had been unbeaten since September 26. That's 2 months. Now, at half-time you went a bit tuppence in Hearts. They did fight back, but as you saw, just overwhelmed in the end.
How do you assess yesterday's Don's performance, Gordon?
Well, it was an astonishing performance, certainly going up to Pittodrie yesterday. You didn't expect so many goals, and really they've got a lovely blend of youth and experience, and we scored, what, 13 goals within the space of 4 days. They've got to consider themselves serious title contenders, but Wednesday's game at Parkhead's a big, big win for them, because Rangers are relentless just now, and neither side, that's Celtic or Aberdeen, can afford to drop any points.
What about this man Shearer then, Jerry? Willie Miller took him to Pittodrie, £500,000. He can't miss right now.
No, he's got the knack of being in the right place in the right time, as all good strikers should, and he just times his runs so well.
Yeah, I think Henry Smith's complaining about offside at this one, but actually Jim McCluskey was 100% right, because Brian Grant wasn't. But it was astonishing to think that he had 6 goal attempts yesterday, 3 goals. Henry Smith pulled off 2 saves from him, and another one cleared off the line.
There was great running off the ball by the other forwards too, creating the openings.
Yeah, I think they got terrific width yesterday, with particularly when Booth come on and Mason in the left, and that caused Hearts all sorts of problems. But at the same time, there's got to be some question marks about the Hearts defending yesterday. I mean, a lot of these goals that you see, there's just not been picked up. But as you said, Jerry, seems to have the knack to be in the right place at the right time.
And Duncan Shearer's experience too, it's bringing out the best in Ian Jess. He's got to be one of the most exciting prospects in the game. He's quick, he's intelligent, he's aware, he shields the ball so well.
Yeah, he's got lovely control as well, and he's also very good at bringing other people into the game, and not a selfish player. And well, he might figure a bit more prominently in the Scotland set-up in the year ahead, because he came on against Italy and certainly wasn't out his depth, and it'd be lovely to see him in international arena just to see what he can do.
He's just coming up for 22 years of age as well next month. There is a lot of youth in that team. I mean, Alec McLeish is so important to them at the back, but I think this young fella's going to go right to the very top.
Well, they seem to have a lot of terrific youngsters just now. I mean, reading Willie Miller in the newspapers this morning saying it's the best batch of youngsters I've ever had. So,
Gordon, tell me about this youngster Lee Richardson. Again, we spoke about shrewd business on Willie Miller's part in getting Shearer. What about this fella?
Well, he was a player when he first came up to Scotland. I spoke to Kevin Moran, who's Blackburn captain, and he seemed to think that it was an absolute snip. There was one stage he looked as if he might be going to Falkirk, but Willie Miller stepped in there, and Kevin says it was an absolute steal at 150,000, and he certainly looked it in the games I've seen him play so far this season, and certainly in yesterday's performance.
Great weight in his passes, isn't there? And he's got a good dig in the middle of the park as well.
Yeah, he's not dissimilar to Jim Betton style. You know, can switch things to both sides of the park, and Jim Betton was another one that played not too badly.
We're talking about youngsters. I mean, Scott Booth, for instance, he'll be 21 the night Aberdeen play Rangers. That's December 16th, so I wonder if he'll have any celebrations that night. But again, a great goal yesterday. And poor Tosh McKinlay, he was already booked, and they ended up in the revolving door when this fella came on.
Well, for me, he changed the game for Aberdeen yesterday. I mean, he came on at 2 each yesterday, and just at a time when maybe Hearts were beginning to get a little bit of joy with Tosh McKinlay going forward down that left-hand side. He brought Scott Booth on, took Jim Bett off, and it worked an absolute treat. And as you can see here, he was going past players at will, in particular Tosh McKinlay, unfortunately, but he was a big threat yesterday.
Paul Mason, Jerry, seems to have taken on a new lease of life.
Yes, I thought he combined well with Lee Richardson as well. They brought out the best in one another, and some great passing between them. And as I said in commentary, Mason tends to have a good scoring record against Hearts, and of course he delivered again yesterday. He might have had more than one. Got in a good shot here, which was well handled by Henry Smith. But a good overall performance by him. What a finish this is.
Great strike. I mean, what a terrific week. He's had a really good goal against Partick Thistle at Firhill in midweek, and I mean, that was an absolute cracker there.
So much for Aberdeen. We've discussed them. What about Hearts and Joe Jordan? What is there for him now, Jerry? He's got to get money so he can buy new talent.
Well, I mean, Joe's reputation is obviously important to him. He's done extremely well since he's been here on a limited budget. Now, there was a slight bit of a fallout between himself and the chairman towards the end of the week over the Scott Crab money, but Wallace Mercer says that will be made available. That wouldn't buy an awful lot. I think Joe's going to have to sell, maybe add that money to it. But he's got to look at his own reputation, and if he feels that Hearts are going nowhere, he might have to look somewhere else himself.
I think you'd agree with that, Gordon.
Yeah, well, as Jerry said, the Scott Crab money, which Wallace Mercer seemingly made available to Joe Jordan. Now, what was it, 220, 230,000? I mean, Rangers sold a reserve team striker to Chelsea for £500,000 this year, so that doesn't tell tells you how much 220,000 is going to buy.
And that puts it into perspective. Jerry Gordon.